Crash reveals that he loves being hardcore champion. So he's decided he's going to be defending the title 24/7, 365, anywhere in the world.
My favorite suggestion that was ever implemented. I thought it was so fun.
We're on the road to WrestleMania. It's the first WWE event of March 2000. We're paying tribute to Luna Vachon. It's Tales from the Attitude Era.
All right. Well, my shirt's paying tribute to Luna Vachon. She's not on the roster anymore during this retrospective, but this is always in our hearts.
Your silent protest 25 years later about her being released.
Yes.
Welcome to Tales from the Attitude Era. It's Rob here, as always, joined by former writer for WWE, Tommy Blacha. Now, previously we said you were the first TV writer hired by WWE, but a commenter on YouTube, I'm going to get his name in a second, or her name, their name, I should say, pointed out that, hey, wasn't Ed Ferrara a TV writer? Vince Russo's assistant? Well, and it turns out, yes, he was.
That is true. Although Ed Ferrara was a wrestler.
What?
So, yeah, Ed Ferrara had trained trained and took bumps and was like an indie wrestler and a TV writer. So I'm going to stick with what I say. I'm the first TV writer to ruin
exclusive
professional
TV
wrestling. yeah. So, I can't remember what he did. He did work on something, but he was very.
He worked on Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the TV show. He was the creator of that.
That's right. There you go. So, well, yeah, Well,
Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
The Monsters, Little Scary Christmas.
Yeah, that's
the Weird Science TV series.
That's a fucking TV writer. God damn it! I guess I'm not, but
yeah.
But there is a wrinkle. There is a caveat.
Yes,
he was an actual indie pro wrestler.
We need to track down Ed Ferrara because I'm sure he has a lot of stories. He doesn't really talk too much. He doesn't shoot from the hip like his associate Vince Russo, who I'd love to have on the show as well.
Maybe there's no room. Oh, there's no room. Maybe he has to say little quips.
So we're reviewing Smackdown. My voice is a little shot today. Where it's the March 2nd.
Were you cheering at the TV again?
Yes.
25 years later. Oh, come on.
It was a great episode. Smackdown has really, really been delivering as like the wrestling show. It's kind of great. I imagine you guys just are so exhausted from this long week that you're like, just put a bunch of matches on. And it comes out great.
That's not untrue. So you're saying, SmackDown has more in-ring action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And certainly. I liked it.
Yeah. And you have to remember, like we said before, this is the third city of the, big pay-per-view, the Raw live. And this one is a little just natural human nature decompress. And then have matches. And then also the time isn't so precious. And then it's edited too. So sometimes, but what you say is true.
So this is the March 2nd edition of WWE SmackDown, March 2nd, 2000 in Trenton, New Jersey. I didn't even know there's an arena in Trenton, New Jersey. Is it?
Yeah, it's the Loaded Gun Crime Arena, I think it is, or something. I can.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I can say that being from Detroit, Trenton, New Jersey is one of the few places that I go, whoa, I'm impressed at its urban blight.
There was a part of me that was like, oh God, are we going to have to suffer through? Well, I don't want to say suffer through. That's a little too negative. Are we going to have another Triple H long-winded promo to start the show? Blah, blah, blah. No, we don't even see Triple H until the very last second here. He really changed up the format a little.
And again, like I said last time, using all the TV production tools and not just, I think a lot of people get involved in booking the matches and how what was the correct booking and whatever. And I'm always kind of saying it's a TV show. So using the production capabilities, like we said, ad nauseum of the great studio back there, it's like, how about roll up out a package that's, that highlights Stephanie versus, Shane and what have you, is letting, using all our tools in the basket to, make the show, move forward.
I thought the recap was very effective at the top of the show. And as we've mentioned many times, SmackDown on broadcast television, a lot of people don't have cable, don't have pay-per-view. So this is their first time checking in since the pay-per-view. I like the little color correction graphics that they were doing, add a little spice to it.
They're great. All that stuff is great.
One thing I always found humorous is that they would show stills from the pay-per-view. Obviously, they don't want to give out the motion of the show. You got to pay for the motion. But then they would credit the stills to WWE Magazine as if these are photos that are going to appear in the magazine and not just a still of the video.
No, and that actually, I think we talked about this before. That was my idea because I always felt like I was always concerned that like, wow, these pay-per-views are not that much different in content to Raw and SmackDown. I mean, in terms of like amount of stars, quality of stuff, stunts, whatever. So it's always like, why, and I was always amazed at this era. I still am of like, it's like, oh, these pay-per-view numbers are gotta come down. I mean, they have 5 hours of other stuff a week. Why are they going to be, always paying for these pay-per-views? Nope, didn't happen. But that was always a thing, reminded me when I was a kid. They would show like, if there would be like Muhammad Ali versus Joe Frazier, that would be closed circuit TV only. You'd have to go down to the arena. And then the news would be very sparring. It would be such a big, huge, cultural touchstone for the whole country. And they would just show stills. They would only allow, it was very negotiated, like one still of like, oh, so-and-so's getting, hit with the sweat coming off his head. So I always thought that was exciting and kind of a way to make the pay-per-views a little more special, is just to, kind of put that weird production value in it. And I suggested that, and Vince said, yeah, do that.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I do like that you did make the exception to show the incredible timing of the Shane McMahon chair spot to The Rock, because that's obviously a big wrinkle in the story. And so you showed Shane's big return. And this is a big return. We haven't seen Shane for 4 months. And what's his deal? So we're going to find that out tonight. Right. And so right after the recap, you do the awesome classic SmackDown intro and then immediately go into Too Cool. So this is a complete shift of format from the last few weeks, starting with the mid-card or the middle of the card, as opposed to doing a main eventer.
Yeah. Well, you can't do the same thing day after day,
I appreciate it. I'm complimenting. It's great. I like it. I like the break and forth.
Well, I'm accepting your compliment.
Well, good. Because like I said, I was a little trepidatious. I'm like about the format, like, because I feel like everything is working so well. Is the writing staff getting a little too comfortable in their formats? But no, you're challenging yourselves, and I like it. I approve.
Yes.
So Too Cool come out first. They're teaming with Chris Jericho, who's out there with China, and Too Cool. It's just Grandmaster Sexay and Scotty 2 Hotty. Out with Jericho, China in their corner. They're facing Benoit, Saturn, and Malenko with Eddie Guerrero in their corner. Very fun action. This is great. Like everyone works together really well. Everyone's professional. Most of these people have a history of working with each other. So it's just great.
Well, so when I reviewed this one and I looked at the card, I was kind of like, oh boy, might be a big clusterfuck. But again, it points out to like everyone was so hot. They were like, no one was phoning it in, because usually like these big, huge tag matches or someone, they usually suck, frankly. And this was just like all the participants are so good, So all these matches on this show were like, oh, fuck, they were all great, I thought.
Yeah. Also, it's the last day of the loop. You think people were tired?
Yeah.
No, they're here to party. At one point, there was a little schmozziness in the ring. Too Cool and Malenko and Saturn are in the ring. Malenko accidentally clotheslines Saturn, and then all hell breaks loose. China gets on the apron. Eddie pulls her down. China, Jericho, and Malenko fight to the back. Grandmaster Sexy is on the top rope and tries to hit a leg drop on Saturn. Eddie gets on the apron to distract the ref, giving Benoit the time to give Grandmaster Sexay a top rope headbutt, switch the pin. The Radicals get the win. So at the end, it was a little chaotic, let's say. But
sure,
timing wise, everything got pulled off.
How can it not be?
Yeah.
Although, and even the mix of like the Radicals with two cool, you know what I mean? It's a big, it really could have shit the bed, but it didn't.
Yeah. A lot of finishes today where somebody gets on the apron to distract the ref to, you know, for something else to happen in the ring.
Well, it was, I don't know if you looked at the date, but it was National Get on the Apron, Distract the Ref Day.
I thought it was National Low Blow Day. Yeah. It's those dates interact.
Yeah.
Rock enters the arena. He's backstage. Midian approaches him and gets a punch to the face. So Rock is not messing around. A big stretch limo shows up, and Shane and Big Show get out of the limo. Now, I think I know the answer to this, but what is the purpose of these segments, these interstitials, especially the limo shot? Like, what are you trying to get the audience to feel with these?
Well, and one basic fundamental is just when you have that many minutes of a show, the tail ends in the interstitials, it's just to make it not static, you know what I mean? And it's to constantly remind people going to commercial, oh, they're showing up. It's just like it's a cool thing. It's very just fundamental, you know? And like I said before, the people from ABC once were like watching the whole production, and they liked and I remember watching the Olympics, and because we'd always do things like, let's have a shot of so-and-so putting their boots on just to remind people that when we come back, that person's going to be participating. It's just a way to really like keep, you know, keep it going, keep it moving, keep the visual storytelling like going, and like instead of just like static, oh, here I'm in an office, you know, that just gets too stale. It's literally just like movement, like, oh, a big limo, I mean, that's just a time-honored thing we do a million times, which is great. The limo door opens, you know what I mean? That's still you know, I know there's more limos now than there was then, but still, it's like, who's getting out of the limo? It's just, you know, gives them some excitement, gives them some gravitas. They're coming in a limo. They're not just, you know, showing up willy-nilly. But like I said, and I saw the Olympics and they had the figure skaters like doing up their skates, and I'm like, they stole that from wrestling. How awesome. Like, just like, oh, showing them preparing. So
I think basketball as well did it now. I know it's interesting because wrestling did it, then regular sports were influenced by it, and now I think WWE is influenced by how regular sports do it. So I noticed in NBA, they would, at the start of the broadcast, they would show all the players arriving and getting off the bus in their suits with their suitcases, like arriving at the arena to talk about the storylines that the announcers are creating for this real sport. And now I see WWE is copying that aspect. Every WWE show now starts with wrestler arrivals, and they use that as a way to hype their match later in the show. Exactly how you're saying.
I like the, of course I'm always biased, but I like the Attitude Era a little better because it just seemed a little less static. Like, obviously when you watch the basketball players, no one's from the Jazz is going to come in and, you know, clock someone from the Thunder. Oh God, he took his, you know, it did happen in real life with, you know, Nancy Kerrigan. My goodness. That was art, life imitating art.
Also Conor McGregor at a UFC press conference.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know, I did kind of get that feeling like not enough stuff happens. Like with this, you're always like, what's going to happen? You know, you never know, you know, and there's always like a edginess and like some mystery. So
after the break, the Hardys come out. Jeff Hardy has a match against S.A. Rios with the beautiful Lita. And first of all, as I mentioned many times, I was obsessed with Lita in this moment. And also I was obsessed with the Hardy Boys. And I knew as a smart mark that Matt Hardy was dating Lita. So I was like, oh my God. They're all at ringside.
What? Oh, you turned into a lady from the 1800s?
Yeah, I'm in heat.
Matt Hardy and Lita.
And not for nothing, this is easily, let's get that Comic Science font up. Work rate match of the night. Rob's work rate match of the night.
Yeah.
Brought to you by Castrol.
Brought to you by Cortisone 10.
Oh, yes.
Massaging rollerball.
So good.
And just how this was thrown together, I was like amazed at like these guys just like, okay, because the match wasn't set a week ago. You know, it was just like, just how they could, that's the most impressive thing that I, in my experience, was like guys like that, just like, oh, look what they did, look how seamlessly they worked. That was like spectacular,
This match, I would say go out of your way to watch it, because you could put this match on today and people would be like, wow, this is ahead of its time. Like, they did really great action. Everything is so crisp. Nobody botched.
It almost seems like I felt like I was being conned, because it was like, S.A. Rios doesn't speak English. Jeff Hardy doesn't speak Spanish. They just booked this match, and then you watch it and you're like, how in the fuck did they do that?
Yeah.
And you really, it's like, and you tell people, it's like, well, they choreographed it and they spent weeks. No, it was like really amazing, really impressive.
And I want to quickly mention, a few weeks ago, sadly, we lost Sabu,
yes.
Who I was a huge fan of, especially at this time. And Sabu, it was like finding an underground metal band that nobody knew about.
Yeah.
When I first learned about him. Obviously, I know you're a big fan of his uncle, Sheik. But sure. I want to say, like, Sabu's influence, you could even see it in this match, because Jeff Hardy is doing Sabu moves. His triple jump leg drop or the moonsault or whatever. He got that from Sabu. Like, he's heavily influenced by Sabu. And later we see some table spots, which I feel like Sabu is the one who introduced the table spots in the 90s. So it's very interesting how much his presence is felt here, where he's nowhere near the card.
Yeah. No, Sabu, unbelievable, and just gave his whole body to it. Like,
oh my God.
Anyone gave their body to any sport.
Yeah.
Period. What can you say?
So this was an incredible match. I can't even call it, but they were doing so many great gymnastics. Go out of your way to see it. The ending saw Lita,
and it's a short match, It's so which I guess maybe was
it's to their benefit, I think, too, because there's no room for rest holds. It's just action.
Yeah, and it was. And sometimes you see matches like that. It's like high spot versus high spot versus high spot versus, and it wasn't really. It was, I don't know. And part of the whole thing, I was surprised at how good it was,
Also, I think I was thinking about this, like, if every match on the card was like this wouldn't have meant as much. But because these were the only guys doing these fucking gymnastics, it really, really stuck out as something unique.
Right.
So the ending sees Lita trying to interfere. She does a Huracan Rana spot to Jeff on the outside. It's kind of her signature outside interference nowadays, and rolls him back in the ring. Then she tries to get on the apron and smack him, but the referee sees it. And again, the referee is distracted. Matt runs in and gives S.A. Rios a twist of fate, giving them a taste of their own medicine. Jeff goes up for a swanton bomb. He hits it. Then Lita just decides, fuck it. I'm going to top rope and I'm hitting a moonsault on Jeff in front of the ref. It's a DQ finish.
But it's so exciting. That was pretty rare, that move. And that also what was great, you kind of didn't have the sense, she wasn't just introduced as a wrestler. She was like, oh, she's a valet or a classic or a manager.
Right.
And so that when that move happened, it was like, whoa, it was like, really exciting, I thought.
Yeah. This was really exciting. Exactly. Because you didn't really see a woman. Anytime I say a woman, I hear Dr. David Schultz's old 80s promo. I wanted a woman. But anyway, you see anytime. Yeah. No, she did great. I forgot my point already. But and after the match, S.A. Rios chews out Lita in Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. I don't know what he said. But I was almost like, I mean, at the time I was happy because I was like, oh, maybe they're going to put Lita with the Hardys. That would be so cool. But 2025 Rob is like, oh, what a bummer for S.A. Rios, because as soon as he loses Lita, the package is gone. And like, it would have been cool to see a little more of him.
Yeah, I think there was some things that I'm not privy to why the package dissolved and he went away a little bit. I don't know.
I see. Maybe like Vince just wasn't into
it. Go on the dark web to find out. I'm not privy.
You're saying this is more an administrative issue than a talent issue.
It was kind of put to us like, oh, this guy's great. And this lead is great too. And it was kind of I think Bruce Pritchard told me, or said like, so the deal is like she's going to do like finishing moves to interfere in his match and stuff, and not just your typical up on the ring apron female valet distraction. It's going to go to another level. So that was kind of presented to us like, oh, okay, cool, and then so that's what we knew, and then quickly it was like, oh, he's out, So
I see. That's how it happens in the crazy world of WWE, and really there are not that many spots. Right. With the limited amount of television, so you really got to make the most of it. Then we have one of these cutaway gags. Now that Mae Young has delivered her baby, and Mick Foley is out of the picture temporarily, you've recruited Al Snow and Steve Blackman.
There you go
for this gag. Did you produce these segments? Do you remember?
No, this was Gorch. I'm 99% positive, and it was one of those things where sometimes frankly it's like this. Oh, you get what? You get to go to a where are you going? How long are you guys gonna be? Oh shit. Because then Vince is barking, you gotta handle that stuff, and like Gort, they're driving to a restaurant, they're probably gonna eat there too and come back in 4 hours. Damn it. So Al and Steve Blackman are at a bar. They're wearing matching green shirts. I was like, oh, it's a little too early for St. Patrick's Day. But Al said he got Steve a hot date. Steve asks Al where he met her, and he says his therapy group. And Steve's like, wait, what? And a very excited, talkative woman shows up. She's so excited to be dating Steve and starts chanting, head cheese, which is definitely a way to make a mark on your date. Shane and Big Show come out for a promo. Now, I love that this was in the middle of the show, not at the top of the show. Greeted with asshole chants, Rocky chants. Shane McMahon says, people are asking me why I did what I did. And I thought he offered the perfect reasoning for this. He said, I can't let Rock dominate WWF like Stone Cold Steve Austin did. My father made a big mistake and didn't squash Austin as he was rising, and I will not make the same mistake. I like that. I like this as a reason that ultimately he thinks, he's putting aside his issues with Stephanie and Triple H to save his father's company or whatever, Yeah, it's all works because so much has been seeded and it's a family. It's not just like, it's really the reason so many sitcoms or whatever are families, because there's a reason that everyone's involved with each other and everyone goes in and out of the same room. You know what I mean? It just is if they were just different players, you kind of won't give a shit as much as wouldn't be like, and now so-and-so's back. Oh, and I've got my place in the company. But since they're brother, sister, and the family, like it all can get like convoluted, and it just always, to me, is like, it's such an advantage because it always tracks, because you always got that, oh, Shane is going to then at any point maybe go to Stephanie's side because someone will treat her too bad. Or, you know what I mean? You got a lot of stuff that's always in the undercurrent that is possible, if that made sense. Yeah. So then The Rock comes out. Huge response, of course. Yeah.
Says, Shane, you think you can keep The Rock down? But The Rock refuses to quit. And no matter what they do, one day The Rock will become People's Champion. Big pop for this one. The Rock isn't the number one contender, so he has nothing to lose. So how about tonight? He challenges Shane and Big Show 2-on-1. And Shane's like, really? You want the two of us? Well, and he's about to accept when Rikishi's music hits. Rikishi says he knows The Rock could beat these two jabronis, which really got Big Show and Shane McMahon upset. Jabroni in the wrestling universe is like the N-word. Yeah. it's like the ultimate insult. It's like, don't you, how you can't say that to me. And I love this next line from Keish. He goes, there's two things the fans want to see tonight. Big Show taking The Rock bottom and Shane taking, and then he turns around and lifts off his skirt, my bottom. Rikishi's ass being a weapon of mass destruction is such a great face gag because it's funny, but it's also threatening.
It's amazing. It's so weirdly unique because it's like someone coming out using their ass, having this huge ass, people going, oh, and yet not being laughed at because you can't laugh at Rikishi,
Yeah.
And he just immediately turns around and he dances and he's a force of nature and he's really tough and he gets that kind of heat. It's a very strange, unique mix. I'm kind of like amazed by it.
It's like, very of the moment. How
do you get to do all that?
Yeah. How do you exactly? What other era would this work in?
It's impossible.
Yeah, it really is a test. And also, I think this just shows what 20 years of experience is good for. If this was given to a rookie, I don't think they would have been able to pull it off like Rikishi because he's a great worker too. Yeah,
and it's just something about, I guess, that, you don't really laugh at a Samoan, or Polynesian, like Scott Steiner said, like, yeah, it's hard to find a not tough Islander, just a different breed of cat. That was his quote, so, because even like guys like, well, Crusher Blackwell and maybe him a little bit, or Playboy Buddy Rose was, no fucking pushover. I think he had an amateur background, but he turned into straight comedy, so to speak. But, with someone who could be that whole package like that, it's insane.
Yeah, it's very impressive. Backstage, Angle is pitching D'Lo while D'Lo is playing the new PlayStation Smackdown video game. A lot of nostalgia seeing those graphics, and specifically that game. I just had, like, because wrestling was so big in this moment, I just remember all of my teenage friends really through the video game knew wrestling because it was an actually great fighting game. And I just had so many weekends where we would all just get together and, do tournaments or whatever, playing that particular game.
Yeah. And business was so hot. Like I said, there was so many times in this era where, like, where is everybody? Like, previous to this, everyone would be like doing these photo shoots or off to the side because the wrestlers had no time to like go do things. They would set up a big thing for the video games and do like some mocap stuff with guys, and you know what I mean? And taking pictures of them. So like at any given moment, we're like, oh, in the production meeting, everyone needs to go by and get scanned for this to be in this video game, the early versions of things like that. And it was just like,
it's still, it's crazy how they look now, but for the time, I think it looked great.
Oh, and even when we were talking at like meetings and stuff, it'd be like, oh, the ratings were huge. How was the buy rate for the pay-per-view? Huge. Anything else? Oh yeah, this video game debuted and it was the number one. Catch this, everything from everywhere you looked was just like money coming in, more money, and it was incredible.
Yeah, the game sold almost 2 million copies, 1.93 million copies, which is insane.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, okay. The whole series sold 26 million units.
And they weren't cheap.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
WWE was always so ahead of the game with licensing too.
Oh yeah.
They had everything figured out.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So D'Lo's playing the PS game. Angle's pitching him. D'Lo's not listening. Sergeant Slaughter comes in, says Godfather's looking for D'Lo, so D'Lo just leaves. And Kurt Angle's upset. Sarge, how could you interrupt me? I used to be a big fan. I used to be in the Cobra Corps, which popped me. And now you're just disappointing. And Sarge says, do you have a problem? Because, I have my gear. We could have a match tonight. And Angle's like, okay. And Sarge says, I'm going to put you through basic training, maggot.
And this came about, I can't remember exactly how it came about, but for some reason it came in like just almost like as an aside in the production meeting or before that with Vince, and like, how about, a little, bump into it backstage as Sarge. And I remember this is where I got schooled. I was naive. I said like, I think I literally said like, oh, but he doesn't know how, should we, he's not going to have his gear. And Vince like laughed and like, oh, he'll have his gear. And I was like, because he had been on the road the whole time I was there. So he hadn't been on TV in a match in like years, literally, but he still carried his gear every time. And then Vince, of course he's going to have his gear. And I was like, oh yeah, that's a time honored thing. He's like, he could have been 5 years without having a match carrying his gear every time. And
you never know.
You never know.
That's I always hear wrestlers talk about that. Like you always got to carry your gear, even if you're just visiting, even if you're coming to visit, you're not even working.
Yep.
Carry the gear.
That's when I was really green. What are you gonna have as gear? Everyone just laughed at me. Oh, idiot! Like,
gotta be smartened up.
Yeah.
And I looked it up. Sarge was 50 or 51 at the time, and like, in my head, I'm like, oh, he's over the hill. In that moment, no offense to Sarge, but
especially big guys, big guys. He
towered over Angle.
You know what I mean? It's harder
the
for
belly.
and just physiologically, like you get a lot more problems with knees and what have you. And man, he took some impressive bumps in that match.
He took some crazy bumps. He took that suplex from the outside. I couldn't believe it.
Everyone was going crazy. I was like, oh my god.
He worked hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just want to say, in modern day, Rey Mysterio is 50 years old.
Right.
So he is the same age as Sarge was here. Chris Jericho, modern day, 54 years old.
Right.
Older. John Cena, 48. A few years away. So,
and a lot more condition, as they say, all athletes are going longer, conditioning, that, the other, and the smaller guys in the style, but the big guys, you don't see the big, the big behemoths.
Yeah, that's true. Like Big Show I feel like his knees are so shot nowadays. Oh, Paul White, it's almost tough to watch him walk. Like I feel bad for him.
Almost anyone 7 foot is, their knees, what have you, but. And those kind of bumps, I mean, all respect to the Big Show, he took bumps in this match that he never took, Yeah. So like, we'll
get to it. So then we have Taz versus Crash Holly for the hardcore title. And this is exciting. It's the birth of the 24/7 gimmick.
Yeah. Favorite thing I ever did there. My favorite suggestion that ever, I don't want to say that I did, but that was ever implemented. I thought it was so fun.
The match goes right into the crowd. Immediately, there's ECW chants. They're backstage. It's like a few minutes. Taz is dominating. All of a sudden, Albert rushes Taz. Taz moves out of the way, and Albert smashes Crash Holly. Taz grabs a wrench, hits Albert. Bossman approaches him, gets hit. Taz is dealing with Albert and Bossman, locks one of them in a freezer, turns around. Crash Holly has a wood 2x4 that he smashes over Taz's head and gets the pinfall. 1, 2, 3. I felt so bad for Taz doing the job.
Right. Well, it's a job with a 2x4 over the head.
Sure. But like a week ago, he had a nightstick hit over his head and he got up. But to be fair, he got up later than 5 seconds after getting hit. So he could have just been temporarily knocked out and then got right up after. So there's an asterisk there. And, you're doing the big boss man Taz feud, but Crash gets out of there. No hardcore Holly tonight. We go back to the date. They're ordering. Steve asks his date if she likes fish, and she just has so much to say about fish. She won't shut up. Backstage, Crash reveals that he loves being hardcore champion. So he's decided he's going to be defending the title 24/7, 365, anywhere in the world, in the hotel, in the gym, wherever you want. You're really getting across to people like, look, this can be defended anywhere. So it begins.
Yes.
Then we have Road Dogg and X-Pac coming out. They allude to attacking Billy Gunn. Road Dogg has a clever new rhyme for him and X-Pac. They're facing Edge and Christian. Terry comes out and she's standing near Edge and Christian's corner, not necessarily with them. This was another really good match. All 4 guys worked really, really hard.
Yeah.
If we didn't have the Jeff Hardy match, this would have been the work rate match of the night because they gelled very well. Edge is knocked down to the outside. Terry helps him up. Edge rejects her help. Terry is offended by this, so she slaps Edge. Christian is distracted by this commotion and gets low blowed by X-Pac, X Factor, and the win. So we learned that Edge and Christian, in fact, do not want Terry's services. And after the match, Christian is a little upset at Edge and they have a disagreement.
Sowing the seeds of discontent. Slightly.
Yeah, but it's a while still, but you never know. There's a really, really great commercial for the Acolyte Protection Agency. I don't remember this, but it looks so good. It looked like you used fancier cameras than the traditional broadcast cameras.
Yep.
It was really nice. I'm going to post it on our socials because it's so good.
Yeah.
Backstage, we see Shane and Big Show going to DX's locker room. This is the moment where I was like, where the hell's Triple H? Here I was thinking we have so much Triple H, and now I'm like, where is he? We have Tess versus Viscera. My God, what a match. I can't believe I'm saying this. These guys worked so hard. Both of these guys, like, this is what it felt like. Both of these guys aren't getting TV time. They're very fed up by this. They get a chance. They get like 5 minutes to work together. And they were like, let's make this the best 5-minute match. I've never seen Viscera work this hard.
Yeah. Well, and also that was just the ethos of everyone. You know what I mean? All these shows had massive ratings. You're on, you know what I mean? There was no, like I said, even people never even shit on Sunday Night Heat. So there was no, and you got to remember still there was that, it wasn't that long ago that the Radicals are coming from WCW and the Monday Night Wars were like this thing. And the momentum is clearly on WWF's side, but it's not like, oh, let's relax. That's not in the air whatsoever with anyone on the roster. And new people always nipping at your heels. So,
yeah, they worked really, really hard.
Yeah.
I really like the psychology of the match. Viscera took most of it, and it really got the crowd behind Test. And it all built up to a big scoop slam spot. And that's where the momentum shifted. Test went to the top rope, gets the elbow drop, gets the win, gets a little bit of momentum on his back because it's a little start-stop.
And sometimes you got to remember live, just those two coming out. It's like, whatever percentage. You can't say the whole arena is smart marks. I don't know. There's parents who drove the smart marks. There's all kinds of people, you know what I mean? And for them to see like, oh God, who's that big Viking and that huge guy? It still was like fundamentally a good match. And sometimes I get miffed when like years later say, oh, not that again. It's like, yeah, these fucking, these guys work hard.
I would have been the one being like, oh, not this again. But watching it back now, I'm like, no, this is great. This is really, really good. And I think as an older smart mark, I've come to appreciate the super heavyweights much more.
Right.
As someone who probably would be considered a super heavyweight at 280 pounds, it's just like, to imagine what their bodies would go through to take some of that punishment.
Right.
It's like, I have a new respect for it.
And still designing those shows for the live, audience. And those are crowd pleasers. When you see like any match that just like, and here comes a couple super heavyweights just in the arena here. And, the difference of the, because all you hear is the mat, hitting boom, and just the difference of that, the difference of the ring ropes, everything, the size of them. So it's very valid. And sometimes I think people don't look at that anymore because that energy just transfers through the TV of like still designing a show to please the 10,000 people in the arena is imperative, I think, and sometimes that goes away.
I agree. Yeah. Nowadays, I don't think they do that. Now they design the shows for the TV audience and the fans are just kind of like a studio audience.
Yeah, it should be a balance, it really. But yeah, I agree with you. We're in agreement.
All right. We see Shane and Big Show leaving the locker room. Then back at the date, Steve's date is on the phone with her friend talking about how much fun she's having. She has a giant VCR-sized cell phone. And Al is in the background trying to get some special music played, and Steve Blackman is just having the worst time of his life. Angle comes out for his match, says he used to be a huge Slaughter fan, but Slaughter went from the 3 I's to the 3 B's. Bald, bloated, and a bolt head. Sarge comes out, gets a nice pop. He gets some offense in.
Looks almost exactly the same.
Yeah, just like a slightly bigger belly.
20 years before. Had that big lanky body, just a huge man, big hand. Like,
he's so tall.
He's so tall. He's got this incredible like chin. He's simultaneously lanky and thick, which doesn't make sense, but he is because his arms are so long. His feet are big. It's just like, oh, he's hilarious.
And this was great. Kurt sells for Sarge a lot. And then Sarge locks in the Cobra Clutch. People knew this was his finisher.
Yeah.
And there's a big reaction like, are we going to see this? And Kurt tries to get out of it. And I think he tried to like roll Sarge off of him, but they kind of messed it up. But Kurt recovered really well, just getting his leg on the rope to just break the clutch. And then he sends Sarge flying into the turnbuckle. Sarge does his signature like turnbuckle spill spot. It's like kind of like the Ric Flair spot, but it's Sarge's version.
Yeah, but it's better because he's so big. It's just seems so much more dangerous. It was so.
I can only imagine the sound of the clunk in the arena when he fell and hit the ground.
Well, I remember seeing it live, and like I said, like you see this all the time. I mean, I've seen every day so much wrestling. It's all exciting. It's great. So it was amazing that in that moment, I think my reaction was like, oh, like, whoa, to get that reaction out of it.
Yeah. That was my
know.
reaction to the next spot because Sarge gets back on the apron.
Yeah.
Angle stops him and does a suplex from out of the ring into the ring. That seems like a suplex spot for a 51-year-old man.
Yeah.
It's like a big spot. Sarge tries to lock in the Cobra Clutch again, but wrestling storyline tells us if you fail once, you're not going to make it.
No.
And Angle blocks it and maneuvers himself to hit the Angle slam, gets the victory. Good character building for Kurt Angle here.
Yeah, and just a fun.
Yeah. Then we have the Dudleys in a handicap match against Kane. This is very interesting. The Dudleys just won the tag team titles. And here they are. I don't want to say they're jobbing to Kane, but they maybe are doing the honors for Kane. Like what would be the phrase here? Where it's interesting that you put them in this position. Like the point I'm trying to make is, shouldn't you want to keep your tag champion strong?
Yeah, one would argue that you still want to build Kane. He's been going through a lot of stuff,
right,
in recent weeks that as just an unstoppable force, and it should be not a problem to do the honors to a practically supernatural monster, so to speak. And part of it is they've got the belts or the championships. Oops. Don't say belts, so they can endure that, so, that's a time honored thing too, is once you're the champions, you kind of can turn a little shitty pussy heel to keep them. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
and really, like, we've seen tag champions jobbed far worse in later years than this. So this was fine. Dudley's tried double suplex. They hit it. Kane sits right up. Kane is dominating, tries to get a tombstone on Devon, gets clipped by Bubba Ray. Now the Dudleys are having their way with Kane. They set up a table outside. Bubba is going for a power bomb on Kane, but Kane counters, lifts Bubba off over his back, and Bubba does a bump, grabs Devon and choke slams him through the table setup. TQ finish. Dudleys win. Kane looks strong.
There you go.
Al sits at the table, checks in with the date to see how it's going. She says that Blackman had to run out for a second, but she had a great time, and that was the end of it. No real payoff for this this bit.
I have no insight on this bit, where this woman came from, and often, sometimes things are just, we're doing this, and what? Who's the person? You're flying by the seat of your pants. So that would be for Brian Gewirtz to explain.
Tales from the Gewirtz era. That's for his podcast.
Yeah.
Crash is leaving the venue. Lillian stops him and asks if he's going to really sleep with that belt. He says he has to. He's defending it 24/7. Crash goes to his car. We have Rodney from the posse show up with a ref and a weapon, a garbage can. Hits Crash with the garbage can. Crash falls into the trunk of his car. Rodney tries to pin Crash in the trunk, but Pete Gas stops him. Pete Gas then tries to get the pin.
Yeah.
Now the posse are fighting over who gets to pin Crash, and while they're arguing amongst themselves, Crash escapes. This is great foreshadowing on what is weeks of great content.
Because that was the thing. You could be like, and even when I pitch it, I'd be like, there could be like the hot dog vendor. If he gets knocked out and two are fighting off, he could try to, like anyone could.
If the ref is
and
there.
Then, they immediately get, so it could be like, it could change hands a dozen times in one night or not, or, so yeah, lots of fun.
I like the caveat that there has to be a ref present.
Yeah.
That added like a anxiety to it of like, come on, count.
Yeah. And then you see people dragging a ref and then,
Yeah.
and just,
I did like, there was one time where like the ref was looking around and then he tried to.
Yeah. We had, yeah. And also it was a fun thing. I love things that really gain momentum because you present it in the production meeting and then the agents, when everyone gets excited and starts going like, oh yeah, and then a ref, oh right, and then they can just run with it in a million ways, and the idea is so like kind of strong that it's like you can't fuck that idea over, go nuts, do a million things. So
Shane and Big Show come out for the main event. Shane says he feels bad that The Rock will never again be near the WWE World title and wants to give him a little taste of the gold. That's why Shane's replacement tonight is Triple H, which is shocking.
Right.
And this is the first time we see Triple H on the show. He comes out with Stephanie. And they take on Rock and Rikishi. Very fun match. This is like a house show main event, which seems to be the case on SmackDown. You just throw out the house show main event style of like everyone's having fun. They're working over Rikishi's ankle. Somehow Rikishi manages a Samoan drop on Big Show, which changes the momentum of the match. Big hot tag to the Rock. Rock almost gets the rock bottom on Triple H, but Big Show stops him. Shane gets on the apron. Ref is distracted. A lot of chaos here. Show tries to hit the Rock with a chair. Rock ducks. Show accidentally hits Triple H. Rock gets rid of Big Show. Rock bottom, people's elbow. Rock looks strong after two episode, the pay-per-view and the Raw where Rock was left laying. Now the Rock gets some semblance of revenge and could now lay claim that he should be number one contender since he pinned the world champion.
I agree. And nothing wrong with absolute super house show happy ending energy.
Not at all. No,
I
didn't. I wasn't saying that as a critique. I love it. So that's the Smackdown, a great Smackdown. Let's do Heat results really quick.
Ooh, I don't even remember.
Prince Albert and the Big Boss Man defeating the Headbangers. Then we had, oh my God, I might want to watch this, a mixed tag match, Mae Young and Mark Henry with the Fabulous Moolah against Ivory and Midian.
That's right.
And Mae and Mark won. So Mae Young wrestling shortly after after her blockage.
What a trooper. Yeah.
Al Snow with Steve Blackman defeated D'Lo Brown with The Godfather. And then we had Funaki defeating all three members of the Mean Street Posse.
And, all that Sunday Night Heat stuff kind of kept everyone alive for just in their minds and in agents in mind or whatever. Like, oh, yeah, let's put the Posse in a storyline. So, everyone was happy to wrestle on Heat because it's still, it had decent ratings and it would just keep, things would work out. Something might, spark out of it,
Mm-hmm.
Ivory and Midian might have sparked off into something, so.
It's like a testing ground for you guys, basically, of like.
In a way, maybe it's a little crass to call it a testing ground because it's still a show. You know what I mean? For me, I never liked even NXT that it was like that the NXT meant next. I always thought like, it should just be its own thing. You know what I mean? And by nature of like looking at it, people could pop out of it and go, you know what I mean? It kind of was disrespectful to call it NXT. Like, well, you're not there, you're next. And often there was times in WWE history where NXT was a superior product, I thought.
Absolutely.
Quite a lot. So, it's fun to be like, oh, it's just a different show and it's smaller. And sometimes it's just like fun stuff could happen. So.
Yeah, no, it was fun. I mean, definitely fun. I think also this was where like we haven't been doing the Sunday Night Heat recaps as much, but I feel like S.A. Rios was on like every episode.
Yeah.
So there was something there for smart marks as well. Like you could see action you wouldn't see on the other show.
Absolutely.
Well, all right, folks, we're only a few weeks away, like 5 weeks away from WrestleMania. Thank you as always.
What's coming up very soon, and remember this is getting word The Rock is in talks to host Saturday Night Live, which happened quite quickly. And then I got word.
No, very exciting.
That since I worked at Conan and knew people at SNL, that I was going to be like guest writer for wrestling. So I may have like either this upcoming week or the next week. I wasn't there. I was, I can't remember. I have to watch how they dealt with his absence and all that stuff. So I just was
because he had to be gone for a week, basically.
Yeah, and I just remember like kind of hearing that. So it was just like everything was so intense, all the time. And yeah, that's it. So
very exciting. Thank you as always for tuning in with us. This is a quicker episode this week. And we'll be back next week with more fun. Please follow us on social media, TFT Attitude Era. And we'll see you next time on Tales from the Attitude Era.